Well, good morning, guys. Welcome back to Poorboys Little Homestead. As always, if this is your first time here, thanks for dropping in. Feel free to drop in anytime you feel, my friend. Now, guys, we're finna go for round 2 on cooking on this baby. But if you seen the first time, my first attempt to cook on it, you see I done splurged and bought a can of high heat black paint and painted it. But I also bought me some charcoal lighter so I ain't got such a hard time starting that fire. And third, I put me a little hole where I can set that butane torch and I can let it sit there and blow until my fire gets started. Y'all seen on that first video I had a time starting me a fire. But today, this is going to be a kind of a repeat of the first video of the first time cooking. I'm going to be trying to cook squirrel, and I'm going to be fixing this squirrel the same way, but I ain't going to go through all the details and talking and explaining what I'm doing. This is more or less just a round 2 on this for my viewers to see how round 2 comes out. But this time, I'm going to try my best. So at 30 minutes dead on the spot, I'm going to check that meat. I'm going to take it out and look at it. But we're finna get our fire started. Let it burn a little while, get us some good hot coals going, and then we're going to go over here and we're going to doctor our squirrel up. I also made me a little fire poker to keep with this thing. I should have welded me something right here when it's not in use to hang it up here. I may get around to doing that one day. But we're going to go around here and we're going to start doctoring our squirrel up. And we're going to let that little torch sit there and blow a few minutes. That way my fire will go on and get burning. That's the lazy way of doing it, ain't it? Alright guys, here we go for round 2. Now, best my memory recalls, I got the same thing here and I just went and got them out that same little garden. Heatless habaneros, Fuya jalapenos. What was these called? Savannah peppers. Miniature bell peppers. Fresh tomatoes right here at the end of October. Green onions straight out the garden. Got that mixed up there. Oregano. This time I did cut a little thyme. Garlic chives. Green onions. But I got one other thing, which ain't gonna be in my meat, in this pot right here. Fresh rattlesnake green beans. Now guys, I kind of cheated on these green beans like I did on starting that fire out there. I ain't doing these survival mode. I did put a little salt and black pepper in these green beans. But that squirrel the other day, what I didn't burn up, had a pretty good taste to it. And I said, well, I really want to try that again. Without no salt, no pepper, no bought seasonings. Like I said, just what I'm doing straight out of the garden here. So here we go for our next attempt. Now, I know I said I wasn't going to explain. But guys, I can't just sit here and not talk and do this. In case some of you didn't see the first video, what I'm doing here is I'm cooking a meal that's going to taste pretty good. And I ain't using nothing that you got to buy from the store. Like I said earlier in the first video, if you ain't got no salt, you ain't got no pepper, and you ain't got no seasoning, you can raise stuff to make your meals taste good. Almost all your seasonings you buy has got just about everything I'm putting in it right here. I ain't got no garlic in this. No garlic, I got garlic chives in my garden. These here would work better if they dried, but they ain't got to be dried to give you some flavor. Just pull the leaves off that thyme and off that oregano. I keep saying rosemary just like I did in the first video. I guess I should have just brought some rosemary up here also. What I do? I didn't bring no knife over here. I used my old pocket knife again. But this time, guys, I am going at 30 minutes on the spot. I might check it before 30 minutes. Apparently that cooker there's being straight over that fire's got a lot more heat on it than what that temperature gun reads on the side of that tank. And that's the only thing I can figure it out is because that heat's coming straight up under the bottom there. Maybe we won't have no rain today. It is cloudy again. In the first video y'all seen, I was trying to fight the rain when I was wanting to do the pork chops at the end, which my wife said tastes pretty dadgum good. I'm like, well, really them wasn't no difference than if I'd have done them on the grill, because they had Tony's Creole and little olive oil on them. But I could have chose something else, but I just, like I said, this ain't all about redeeming myself. I guess it is to myself. What I'm saying is I could have cooked something else since I just done a video on doing this exact thing. But I didn't get to eat them squirrels because they was overcooked. And I want to do them again just like this for myself. So I just thought I'd make y'all another little video. I told y'all there was going to be another one. It's going to be more than that, because one day I'm going to try to make some biscuits in that thing. But like I said, the first time I do that, I think I'm going to just put me some charcoal in the bottom and try it with charcoal first. And then I might work my way up trying to do it with some firewood. Now we're going to take these fresh tomatoes. And if you didn't see my first video, this tomato's got acid in it. That tomato there's got a little bad spot in it though. Ain't getting much out of that tomato. Squeeze that tomato juice down in there. Put them tomatoes, and that tomato has that acid in it, and that helps break down your peppers and everything, and your meat itself when it's steaming and cooking. See, I ain't being just real neat. I'm just cutting them and kind of squeezing the juice out in there and putting the rest of the tomato in there with it. I think I got a little bit of everything in there, didn't I? Now again, I got 2 squirrels quartered up here. And for you people that ain't never eat a squirrel, I don't know what to tell you. I can't give you no comparison to compare it to, because it don't taste like chicken, and it don't taste like beef, and it don't taste like lamb. It don't taste like deer meat. Matter of fact, I got to where nowadays I'd rather have the squirrel than I had the deer meat. I really ain't never thought about that. I don't guess I've ever eaten anything else that it tastes like. to compare it to. All I know is when you kind of put some flour on it and you brown it, you smother it in gravy for about an hour and a half till it gets good and tender. Have you some rice or some mashed potatoes, some homemade biscuits. It's some fine eating. That's always been my favorite way of eating it. But the older I get, the more the gravy don't agree with my belly. So then I backed off and I started making like real watered down thin gravy. Or either I'd cook the squirrel like that and eat the squirrel and not hardly eat none of the gravy over anything. Now, some people that don't eat squirrels say they don't eat them because they remind them of a rodent. Well, it might remind you of a rodent, but if you eat chicken and you eat catfish and you eat pork, that's three of the nastiest animals that you can eat, as far as them being nasty themselves and what they eat. Them three animals right there, I eat anything. Squirrels, on the other hand, they eat acorns, nuts, the blossoms and stuff off the trees. You don't see them eating the nasty stuff that hogs and chickens and catfish. They eat their own. They eat their own. You kill a chicken, or let a chicken die in a pen and leave it in there and see what them other chickens do. Catfish, same way. Hogs, same way. You ain't gonna see no squirrel eating on no other squirrel. Or I ain't never seen it and ain't never heard of it. Alright guys, we got all that put in there. Now I'm gonna top this off with water. And we're gonna cover this with tin foil. And the reason I like covering mine, cooking over a fire like that way there won't no ashes blow up in there and get in my food. I might be a little country and I might try a lot of things, but I don't really care about eating dirt and ashes now. But now guys, we finna slip right around there and stick this in that heater, and about like I said, I'm finna look at the clock in 30 minutes this time. I'm finna pull it out and look at it, and then we'll go from there. These green beans are smelling good. Rattlesnake green beans right here at the end of October. Fresh. Guys, I'm gonna tell you, that's the first time I've ever raised green beans in the fall. But that one little trellis out there, that'll make the third mess I got off of just that. I don't know, I think I planted about 12 seeds maybe. I don't think all of them come up, but they come up and went around that cow panel trellis. That's about a good quart wad of green beans. Let's see, that'd be 1, 2, 3. No, that'd be 4. That'd be the 4th time I done got a mess off of them. All right, so let's go around here and put this on the fire and see what our fire is looking like. Guys, I think we got a better looking fire going on this second go around than we did the first time. Slide that little pan right in there. Shut that door. We're gonna give that 30 minutes and I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna check it. I don't want to dry it out this time. Start wasting too many squirrels, I'm gonna have to go back squirrel hunting, ain't I? Alright guys, I checked this at 30 minutes. It wasn't nearby done. I put a few more little sticks on the fire there. And now it's been 1 hour. We're finna take this off and go around there and check it and see what we think. Alright. 1 hour of cooking. If it ain't tender as I wanted, I'm gonna add water back in here and put it back on there. Sticking this plastic fork through that squirrel, so I'm saying it's tender enough. I can stick that plastic fork right through there with no trouble. Yes, it's hot. Over half of that water out, that juice. We're gonna cover this back up. Now guys, I covered this back up and we're gonna set this off over on just one of my pits there just to keep it warm. Because I don't want it getting too cooled down too fast. My green beans is still just sitting here keeping them warm. But we've been to experiment a little more. I'm gonna go around there first and I'm gonna put them other little twigs, fork them up where they in a pile, and after the ashes settle back down, I got a little cast iron pot here and I got some biscuits. Now I ain't gonna sit here and tell y'all these are homemade biscuits, so they are not. What these are is them frozen biscuits that you can buy. Not near about as good as homemade biscuits. But there's a store up the road here about 5 miles. They sell lunch in there and they buy these frozen biscuits. I don't know what brand they are, but they pretty good biscuits to not be homemade biscuits. They're better than them old Wop biscuits. Them Wop biscuits, if you don't know what I'm talking about, them kinds in the little can, you whop them on the cabinet to make the can pop open. That's what I call a Wop biscuit. These are way better than a Wop biscuit, but they ain't near about as good as a homemade biscuit. But we're gonna go around there and I'm gonna put these biscuits on there and what I'm expecting. And I'm just experimenting because I ain't never done this, so that's why I ain't worried about making a homemade biscuit yet. I'm gonna put these biscuits in there. And I know I'm gonna have to watch them and I know I'm gonna have to flip them in this cast iron because they're gonna be cooking on the bottom faster. But we're gonna give her a little try. So right now I'm gonna set this off over here so it'll stay warm. Now guys, I was scared it wasn't enough coals in there, so I put me a few more little twigs on there. And I'm gonna let them burn just a minute so the smoke will calm down. Once they get good and burned, then we're gonna stick that cast iron on there with them 2 biscuits and we're gonna see what we can do. Guys, a while ago when I used this thermo gun or whatever you call this thing, just like right now it's showing 200 to 225, that's 232, 205. But when I was checking that meat, I guess because that fire is coming straight up through there, see that grate is like 100 degrees hotter than when I shoot the outside of this tank, which makes sense, is why I overcooked that squirrel so quick the other day. I was shooting that tank and I'm like, it shouldn't been cooking that fast. But that fire, you gotta look, it's going straight up. It's hitting straight on the bottom of that paint. So it's a good 100 degrees hotter than what this tank shows. So right there, I'm showing 212. And that grate right over that fire, 300, 298, 290, 270 for the side. So it is a lot hotter straight over it than that tank will show. But it's dying down now just a little bit. Still got a little more smoke than I like. I think that's a good little flame in there. We're gonna go and put them biscuits on there. See how this turns out for me. I said the first time I was gonna try biscuits, I was gonna try it with charcoal in the bottom. But I thought about them frozen biscuits in the deep freeze. I said, well, hey, ain't gonna cause no problems. I'll just go get me 2 of them frozen biscuits. Just let's play with it, see what happens. So we're gonna see if we can cook a biscuit over open fire. I consider that an open fire. Guys, that's one reason I left that front off. Now I know I could put a door down there, and the main reason I didn't, if I'd have had another old propane bottle to where I could have cut a door out, because you need your piece that you cut out, I used up here, because you need it bigger than your hole so it'll lap over. If I'd have had another tank, I'd have put a door on it with some air vents that you could open and close. That way you would last way a lot longer. I understand that part. But since I didn't have it, one thing I like about this is a lot of times I like when it gets cold, just sit outside at night. You build a little fire. I like seeing the flame and all that stuff. But if I had a door, of course, I could just leave the door open and have it use it like that. Shut the door to cook on. And one day I may come across another tank that the valve's no good on. It ain't usable for propane tank anymore, and I may put a door down there. But for right now, that's just how I did it, and I wanted to explain. I know some wonder why I didn't put a door down there, because it would, of course, your wood would last way longer burning. But that's why, if I'd had another propane tank, I'd have put me a door on that bottom. Didn't have me some little vents on each side that I could open and close to adjust the air. That's something else for a later date if I come across an old bottle somewhere. See, when you got a good little fire like that right there and it's dark, cool outside, sitting around, let your little flame, you can watch. I don't know what it is, it's just relaxing to me to sit and watch a flame burning. That and sitting around the chicken pen watching the chickens eat. We're gonna let them biscuits there go for about 10 minutes, and then I'm gonna open the door and take a peek in on them and see if they need flipped over and what we need to do. Alright guys, it's been about 11 minutes. I'm gonna check them out. Looking pretty good. So far they looking pretty good. But I don't think they've been there long enough to turn yet. We're gonna give them about probably 5 more, 6 more minutes, and then I might turn them over. We'll just look at them and see. At that point they may be a little brown on the bottom, I don't know. Closest thing I ever done cooking biscuits other than in my oven, or in the oven in my camper. I have, and I ain't done it very often, but I had a few times done biscuits inside a Dutch oven, but the same way I had to turn them. I never got good enough to get the same heat coals on the bottom of the Dutch oven as you did the top. But I played around with that one year at the camp, fooling with it, just something to do. Like I said, there's all kind of ideas and things and ways you could build. This is just what I wanted to build. And of course, as long as you got electricity and got propane and charcoal, you ain't got to cook like this. I just like playing around doing stuff like this. And if I ever had to, I'd already have a little bit of know-how and practice on how to cook on it. Let's go on and check them out again. I don't want them to get too brown on the bottom. I'm gonna pick them up this time. You can see they done fluffed up good. That cast iron's hot. Oh, guys, I should have left it a few more minutes. That one's looking good. That didn't quite get brown enough on bottom. I should have left it a few more minutes before I flip it. Now we're gonna let them go again. All right, guys, it's been about 5 more minutes. That ain't long. Stick them back in there. I just don't want to burn them. I ain't sure. Coals is dying down. But I just don't want to burn them. That's why I'm checking them so often. Alright, guys. There we go. Them ain't the prettiest biscuits. That one looks pretty dang good. That other there I flipped over a while ago, it wasn't brown enough. If I'd have got it brown like that one, that would have been some pretty good biscuits. Pretty good looking biscuits. Let's go around here and see what it tastes like now. All right. Guys, like I said, that one biscuit right there looks pretty dang good. This one here, the reason it don't look as good, because when I flipped it the first time, it wasn't quite brown enough. They could have browned a little more before I flipped them, and then that biscuit wouldn't have came apart. We've been to fix our plate. I got my stuff covered up here because it is some flies out here today. Get us a piece of this squirrel. Guys, I'm going to show y'all up close what this looks like when it all cooked down. You got all your peppers, onions, all cooked in there good. Looks good there. And it's gonna taste good too. We're gonna get us a biscuit. Get us some of these fresh rattlesnake green beans. Get a little more of them. And we're gonna take this right on over there and sit down and eat. I'm gonna cover this up just so the flies won't get on it. Now guys, you gotta remember, this is only the second time I've ever cooked on that little thing. That redneck hillbilly cooker. This was my clean fork. We're gonna open that biscuit up, and I don't know if y'all seen the video of him a while back. This is homemade blueberry jam. That right there will make any biscuit taste good, even them old Watt biscuits. That right there, my friends, ain't a bad looking biscuit. And like I said, that's a frozen biscuit. But if it can do a frozen biscuit, then I know I can do a homemade biscuit with just a little bit of practice. Most things that need probably start out with charcoal on the fire instead of wood. That makes me feel like I was back to camp back in the day. Fresh green beans. And good old squirrel. Now, that squirrel ain't as tender as it could be. I could have put some more water in there and put that back on. It's done. It's plenty done. Could have topped that back off with water and put that back in there about 30 more minutes. And it would just get more tender. That ain't bad right there. Best part of the squirrel, which ain't much meat, is that little back strap right down that backbone. Yeah, I'll do it again. I'll put some more water in my pot and put it back on there. Let it cook and tender up a little bit more. Guys, now I know this ain't no gourmet meal, but I'm pretty proud of myself just being the second time to cook on that little cooker. I cook on it a few times. Get me some good wood, have it cut up in little bitty blocks. That way I can just keep adding just a little bitty chunk at a time, keep the fire kind of the same temperature. Biscuits got that little bit of that oak smoke flavor to it. Not too strong. I could try putting like tinfoil over the top of that little cast iron, because that cast iron right there, that little thing fits right in there perfect. Maybe I could have tried covering my biscuits with tinfoil, and that may have helped it out a little bit. Now, eating squirrel, that's about like eating fish with bones in it. Well, I say that the bones ain't little like fish bones, but what I'm saying is little pieces of meat. You just eat around the bone. That's why the more tender it is, the better it is. And what I might do, go put me a few more little chunks of wood on there, get my fire going back again, and put some water in what's left in there and put it back on there and let it cook longer now. That's a good biscuit for the first try. And if you're watching this and you think I don't know how to make a homemade biscuit, I got videos showing how to make homemade cat heads. Old camp style cat head biscuits. So You can go back, look through my playlist under cooking. You can find that video. Homemade biscuits is plumb simple to make. Especially what I call cat head biscuits. You ain't gotta roll them out and all that mess. Y'all just sit here and watch me eat that whole meal. I went to some pretty decent restaurants in my life while I was off working. And I went to a lot of them and paid good money. And I didn't enjoy it, and it didn't taste near about as good as what I just ate to me. But I hope you liked this little video. Hope it was enjoyable. If you got anything you want to see me try to cook on that thing, put it in the comments below and we might do a video and try it out. Give me your thoughts, what you think you might want to see cooked on. But thanks for watching. Hope y'all have a great day. God bless. See y'all next time.